Good evening, my dear friends. I am Father Thomas Maniparambil, Principal St. Anselm Pink City School, Malvinagar. It's a great privilege for me. I count it as an honor to address you all and to be in front of you talking on the topic, what is education? This is such a huge general topic. I can never ever comprehensively cover all these topics. I can talk about a few minutes because there are so many aspects of education. So what I would like to say is education is the ministry of the work of an educator is like that of a potter. Just like a potter molds the mud into the form of a pot, the same way an educator forms the young mind and creates being. That is the purpose of education, and it involves so many aspects. It involves intellectual formation, it involves psychological formation, it involves moral formation, it involves even physical formation. And it is great that there are so many people involved in this great ministry. You know, in earlier days, ancient times, education was the Gurukul model that was followed. The Shishya would go and stay with the Guru for several years, almost 12 years. There he learned under the guidance of the Guru how to read, how to write. Then he observed the Guru, the way he lived, and he absorbed the sanskar, the culture of the Guru. And after almost 10 to 12 years, when he left the presence of the Guru assured that this Shishya of mine is now competent to face the world. So, you know, education primarily aims at competency, that everyone needs to be competent for the field that he is getting prepared for. And it also includes formation of conscience. No, only competency not enough. You may be a very competent engineer. You may be a very competent doctor. You may be a very competent politician. You may be a very competent manager, administrator. But if you have no conscience formed, you are a threat for the society, for the whole world, for yourself. You are going to be a huge loss for yourself and for your family. So hence, conscience formation is as important as the competency formation. So it is not only the intellectual formation that we should be bothered about, because if you train students only to be intellectually brilliant and no conscience formation, the whole world will be turned upside down by the engineers, and there may be no human beings left on the face of the earth. Hence, every student, whichever school or wherever they study, primarily, along with the competence, they should form their conscience. Conscience formation includes basically to be compassionate, to be sensitive. A person needs to be sensitive to others. It is only by being a loving, compassionate person that he can bring joy to the people. And another aspect is to be committed. Commitment. Commitment is an aspect that makes a person successful. If you are not committed, you can't be a success. You will not be able to give you 100%. So these are the four aspects that we must consider when we think of education. One is competency formation. Second is conscience formation. Third is growth to be compassionate, and formation to be committed. So it involves 4 C's, I would say. So students, after the Gurukul education, those days, education was not a privilege. It could be afforded, and it was a privilege only of the rich and the influential. The common people never went for any education. They could not afford, and society did not encourage it. But as time passed, and in the 18th century, when the Industrial Revolution set in England, the companies, the industries needed more and more workforce who are educated. The companies needed people to maintain accounts. They needed people to manage the industries. And then in the industrial productivity, to increase the productivity, they needed more and more trained staff. And education gave in and got a fillip, a push. And then we had widespread education all over Europe and even in India. And we happen to get a lot of education institutions in India because they focused on increasing the productivity. Their whole aim was to increase the productivity in their companies and to sell their product, to maintain the account, to manage the companies. These were their objectives. And as days passed, this education system that began to deal just with arithmetic and reading and writing, and then slowly science, how to innovate more and more machines, and then we began to have history. And as days passed, education was focused basically on productivity. That's why we have so much importance given to percentage of marks that one scores. We may have students scoring 99% marks, some of them scoring 100% marks, and we say he's a brilliant student. In the process, we have forgotten so many aspects of the human being, because God has created us with a multi-intelligence. One who scores 100 out of 100 in mathematics is not the most brilliant brain in the world. He may be a very poor musician. Scientifically, there are 9 intelligence proven with the human beings. Some may be good in studies, some may be good in mathematics, some may be good artists who can draw things, some may be good speakers, some may be good musicians, some may be good sportsmen. See, there are so many aspects that we can be good at. And in the class, we always think that, yes, this student who scores 100 out of 100 in my subject is the brilliant student. No, he is good in studies. But what about games? Is he doing well? Is he able to run well? Is he able to play cricket? Is he able to play basketball? Or is he able to play musical instrument? Does he have musical sense? Is he a public speaker? Is he a good debater? Is he a good dancer? Can he sing? Can he draw a picture? Can he make any item of craft? Every aspect of activity needs intelligence. And some are blessed to be good artists, some are blessed to be good musicians, some are blessed to be good sportsmen, some are blessed to be good students. So let's not categorize students saying that this is useless because he doesn't study anything. He doesn't study anything, so he is useless. Not at all. He may be good in so many other things. I remember that boy from Malwa. He was a dropout. He could not clear class 12. But these of recent past, he came in touch with me on Facebook. He said, Father, I am running a series number of service stations of Tata company. So see, he knows anything and everything in the engine. With the 1 minute of driving, he can understand how and what has gone wrong with the vehicle. He got such intelligence. A mechanical engineer, he hasn't done mechanical engineering, yet he has got such a mechanical sense, mechanical intelligence, that he is able to identify that there is the fault of the engine. So what I'm trying to say is, do not condemn anyone. Never say useless to anyone. Rather, should be called used less. It is said that human brain is used only 10%, and the genius use only 20%. Then what happens if we use the whole 100% brain that we have? I hope it is only a myth and remains a myth. I'm sure that we are using much more than 10%, I hope. And our students should be able to use much, much more. And they do work very, very hard, especially as they are preparing for the board exam. Page 1 to page 200. If it is 200-page book, they get well versed and they do prepare very well. So intelligence is not just only scoring marks. It is applying our understanding. Now, see, you must have heard about so many missionary schools all around. I would like to speak to you about our Christian perspective of education. Christian perspective. See, all over the world, we have from time immemorial so many famous, renowned education institutions managed by the church, managed by Christian missionaries. Now, why do they start? Even Rajasthan, if you look at every district headquarter, at least there is one Christian education institution, or even most of the tahsils, even we have at least one Christian institution. The foundation for this is that our Lord and Master, Jesus, gave us a mandate that go and teach the whole world. Go and teach the whole world that God is love. God loves you as you are. God does not look at the human limitations. He goes beyond human considerations. No matter whatever caste you are, whatever creed you believe, whatever status you have, whether rich or poor, ugly or beautiful, or young or old, handsome or not so, everyone is a child of God. Everyone is dear to God. That is a message that he has come to give in this world. And he tells his followers, the missionaries, go around and teach that God is love. And that's why all the Christian institutions we have, there's a difference. Certainly there is competency formation, but along with that, there is a human touch that we try to impart. Never ever practice any kind of partiality towards anyone. Provide equal opportunities to everyone and consider each child as special. Each child that comes to a Christian school is like a princess or a prince, treated with dignity and honor. No matter whether he or she is brilliant in studies or not, but we give our best treat, our joy, because our faces should always be smiling towards them, and they should feel like coming to the school, because it's a place where they are accepted, they are acknowledged, they are given privileges, they are wanted. So, my dear friends, so Christian education institutions stand out for this human touch. There are so many people who get highly educated, but without human touch, they get lost. Without human sensitivity, they get lost. Why there is so much of corruption? Why there is so much of evil? Because probably I would blame our own education system. Education is not only making the students competent, it must make our children human. It must make our children God fearing. It must make our children love human values of love, human value of forgiveness, divine values of honesty, of sincerity. I think that is missing in our educational. We are only bothered about the productivity. It's not only productivity. As Ratan Tata once said, do not teach your children the value of things, rather teach them to love the things. It is not, otherwise they will only be counting the cost. They may not value things. They should learn to value things and people. It's not a utilitarian society that we want to create. We want to create a society where there is joy, there is a relationship. Relationship only becomes the source of joy. In no relationships, no joy. Now, when the government is bringing out the new education policy, we are so happy about it, because there are so many new aspects that we are trying to bring in. Because as per the recent survey that was done, the new students who come out of the school, the employability after the graduates who come out of colleges, they made a survey to find out how many are really employable, and they prove that almost 70% of them are unemployable. They have no skill. They do not know how to write. They do not know the basics. They are not useful. So the government is pushing very hard through NEP, new education policy, that there must be skill development. Everyone should know the basics of some activity. Everyone should be equipped to make a living by their education. There is a lot of exposure that our leaders get from all over the world. They visit different countries in the world, different education systems. They observe and they study, and finally, the draft is almost near ready. We are so happy that it has come out very well, and slowly and gradually it will be, and there will be a lot of changes. The training of teachers, the training to be imparted to the students, the attitude towards students, basically to respect and to guide our students. Now there are a number of variety of kinds of abuses that happen in the school. One is the physical abuse. I think that has come drastically down with the interference of the court and parents. Then the sexual abuse. Then finally, Then abuse by neglect. We neglect people, students, for some reason or the other, and it really discourages them, demotivates them, and does a lot of harm. My dear friends, abuse by neglect is a real crime. We must make sure, that the crime or this abuse must be stopped. We must respect, give dignity and appreciation to even the little children, those who enter your school in class LKG, and let him feel the warmth and welcome in the school campus. Now, this NEP will be applicable. It will begin in the year 2022, and by 2030, it will be fully in full form. It will be applicable. It will be implemented in full form from the year 2030. So we have a lot of time to implement this NEP, but in the process, there will be a lot of changes to be brought about in the schools, in the infrastructure, in the attitude of teachers towards the students, and the training for the teachers. So there are so many intricacies involved in it. I'm so grateful to each one of you for listening to me, and I'm certain that these ideas will help you to understand what education is. Thank you so much. God bless you all.